Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of our Malicious Compliance. In today's episode. Fine. I don't care, just come and get all your crap. Okay, works for me. I knew my job but the new manager thought he knew better so I did it his way. Very precisely. Unanimous wishes. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Fine. I don't care, just come and get all your crap. Okay, works for me. A little background, so I work for a company that sells and services POS equipment, point of sale, i.e. those newfangled cash registers. We also usually install updated network equipment, run wiring and set up new wireless that has separate networks for both the business and guests if need be. When we go to install this equipment and get the customer set up, we have various documents for them to fill out and sign that range from the fact that they did receive the equipment in working order to whether they wanted a guest network setup and what they wanted it to be called. One of the important areas that we have the customer initial before signing the bottom of the form is that, if for any reason they decide to cancel their contract with us, we would remove all of our equipment and they would be responsible to either have someone else there to hook it back up how they wanted it, or they could pay us an extra fee to configure everything how they needed it to work without our equipment. So on to the customer of the story. We had just demoed and sold a system to a local health food cafe, and I was tasked with getting all of the equipment installed and set up, and they did us a favor and didn't open till noon on the day we installed. So when I arrived, I discussed all the things in the document for them to sign and told them if they would like to review it before signing they could, and I would start unloading all the equipment and would answer any questions they had. Like most customers, they skimmed it and then signed. I installed the registers, credit card readers, got the internet provider to allow our router to take over, installed the wireless system, ran cables for the kitchen printers and the whole 9 yards. Even was nice enough to run an extra cable for their manager's computer, like 15 feet away, and reset all of their Nest cameras to work with the new network, a pain in the butt as they had about 10 and you had to scan each of the cameras with an app and then change each of them to the new network. About 1.5 hours just to get that figured out. So needless to say, I did a little extra for no cost as a courtesy. Longer story shorter, they had the system for about 1.5 months before one little thing wouldn't work how they wanted. We never said it would, and they got mad and said we just needed to come get their stuff and that the only time we could come get the stuff was either before 6 a.m. or after 7 p.m. when they close. We agreed, but advised them we would have to charge them an after-hours service call because those were well outside our service times. This went back and forth for about a month until they got their next payment for the equipment auto-deducted from their account, because they refused to let us come during normal business hours. At that point the calls started to get more and more heated until the fabled line in the title happened and they said I could come the next morning and their manager would be there. So the next morning I arrived at about 8:30 a.m., after their morning rush, and found that their manager wasn't even there yet, and so I advised the employee what I was there to do and how that would affect them and if they would like to call the manager first to confirm I could wait. I'm not a total monster. They called and confirmed what I was there to do, so I started unplugging our stuff. Router, gone. Wireless network, gone. No more network means, no more accessing cameras, phones are VoIP, so they stopped working. Their old POS the reinstalled was all on wireless, oops, no more wireless. It took all of 5 minutes to get our stuff out and I plugged everything back in how it was before. I was lucky enough to not have any customers come in until after I left. Aftermath. They were down for a day and a half on their internet because they refused to call their ISP to get it configured how it used to be, because that was our job, which it didn't help that they were the type of place that didn't take cash. How gross. Then they called and said we needed to come hook their cameras back up how they were, and started threatening legal action if we didn't. I finally just took a picture of the form they filled out and highlighted the part they initialed and just started ignoring their calls. I think they finally got the hint and stopped calling. Never heard from a lawyer and found out later that half the staff left because of the owner's attitude towards everything, and since they started using Square again their credit card fees went back up. CYA people. I knew my job, but the new manager thought he knew better, so I did it his way. Very precisely. So I used to work for one of the top delivery companies in the UK. There was a lot less competition 15 years ago. I was very good at my specific delivery job, and I often undertook every office task from single delivery routes to maintaining the office and delivery distribution to all routes. Then one day in comes the new manager, and it was the cliché that you dread. You probably all have met the type. Suit slightly too big and a trainee mustache. He had just finished uni and to his credit got himself a business degree. The problem with this company was every office around the whole country was run differently, and this poor manager was expecting every person to do things by the letter, but most of the work was done on goodwill since we were allowed to finish for the day when we had completed our deliveries. It was creating a rod for our own backs tbh, but it was nice to finish earlier on lighter days. Finally, on his third day, after watching me daily and asking me why I was doing things in certain orders, I told him my delivery route was complex and required it to be done in a certain order to ensure the time deliveries got there before 1 p.m. and the other delivery staff were fed their delivery materials by myself at certain times to ensure optimum delivery speeds and minimum delay. He replied, "No, it doesn't work like that." I simply stared for a bemused few seconds and said, "I don't understand." He wanted it by the letter today as per company guidelines. I argued very hard against it and said he will really regret it because we won't complete, but he insisted I was wrong because it was all timed and measured. So after an exasperated 15-minute heated discussion, I did as I was told. To the letter. The 5 staff I fed deliveries to weren't happy but understood. It was like a domino effect of carnage. At 12:30 p.m. we all rang in the office to report the failed time deliveries, which he promptly freaked out about because they were strictly monitored. The subsequent enforced break times and shuffling required also left 15 to 20% of each walk unfinished, which he also now has to complete himself on top of the timed ones. He had to fill out reports for all failed 1 p.m. deliveries, all walk failures, and then had to call in managers from other offices to finish it all. They all finished around 4 hours late. He was not popular. The next day he came to me, asked me to show him the mechanics of the delivery route in detail because I didn't expect that to happen, if I'm honest. It was close enough to an apology for me. We actually became good friends over time, but he never questioned me when I said, "Nope, ever again." Unanimous wishes. This happened 20 years ago. Every year my office would have a fun secret Santa for its 25 employees. Being all writers and advertising creators, the gift pranks and roasts were always a beauty to watch. The only exception was this brown-nosed, bureaucrat twat, T, with no sense of humor who, instead of playing along, would write long letters of reprimands and criticism to whoever name he'd get, over and over again. That was until one particular year, when our most irreverent coworker, C, got T's name. C made sure to use the max price limit for T's present, $20, also making him a very nice, high-quality card. On his turn, C said that, with that gift, he was representing the wishes of all of us employees. T got all full of himself and almost made a speech. When he opened the envelope, he found a one-way bus ticket to the furthest destination one could go using $20, and the card that said, "We hope you enjoy your trip as much as we'll enjoy you taking it." If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.